What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Make Every Second Count Live with me, your host and international award-winning Make Every Second Count speaker, Jeff Marconette Jr., and I am very excited to be here tonight. I hope you guys please share this video out. Invite all kinds of people to watch this show because we're here to help you guys with anything that you are dealing with. I have a wonderful guest tonight. Please feel free to ask all the questions you would like, and I will get them answered to you. But I will bring her up now, and thank you again so much for joining us. Hey, Gabrielle.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much.
That is fantastic. So if you would like to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell everybody a little bit about you, who you are, what you do, where you're from, and why you do what you do. I should have said that differently, but I didn't. So but I'm going to be inviting people on my phone here for a few minutes, so don't think I'm not paying attention. I'm just trying to increase the audience on this show for you.
All right. Well, my name is Gabrielle Crichlow. I am the owner and director of A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. We are located in Brooklyn, New York, although our virtual services are nationwide, but our main office is in Brooklyn, New York. And I do what I do because education is the key to success. That's what I've always believed. I believe that everything that you learn, you can apply it to your everyday life. You can apply it to your career, relationships, health, everything. I feel like there are people who are struggling out there in school, especially with this remote learning that's been going on. And if you give people that understanding that they lack, they can take that knowledge and go to amazing places. So it's when you give someone knowledge, they will go far with it. And so that's what we believe, and that's what we try to get out there to our clients.
That is amazing, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy night to be here with us. I know it's hot there in Brooklyn, New York, because it's hot here in Ohio, and I'm looking forward to the rain. So
I imagine so.
I hear you started this business during the pandemic. Was that difficult?
So I actually started it before the pandemic. I started it in 2013. However, we were affected by the pandemic in that we were doing in-person services since we first began. We didn't really consider virtual. We maybe dabbled with it, but we didn't really pursue it. And then the pandemic hit, and all of our clientele just stopped. So it was a very sudden transition, but we decided to react. We didn't stay lying down. We had to change our what's the word? Our business practice. So we decided to explore the virtual, and we started off with a few clients that we already had. So we had to make the transition and go to all our clients and get them to go online and get them to get on Zoom, because Zoom is the popular thing right now. So we had to learn pretty quickly, and it was a crazy start. But as soon as the ball got rolling, things starting to get a little smoother, which is great. So we changed our business structure to more of a virtual structure.
So
We're still
you adjusted to what was going on and what your clientele needed. So I think that is very important that people in life, whatever they're going through, they need to adjust. They need to adjust to
absolutely.
what they need, to what the people around them need, and they just need to figure out what that is. So I am curious, how did this affect you? I mean, physically, mentally, what in what way did it affect you?
Well, mentally, I felt almost every emotion there is. I was angry, frustrated, upset. It was like the world just shut down, and it's it's interesting because I felt like I was so used to moving pretty quickly, and it's like I was going with the motion, and I didn't really think about it. Um, But then when the pandemic hit, everything just stopped and it was like a sudden like shock because you're so used to going with the motions and the hustle and the bustle of the day, and then the world stops. And because we're in New York, we weren't considered an essential service. So unless it was remote, I should throw that in there. So that was another thing too that forced us to pivot because of governor's orders. The world just suddenly stopped, and it's it was like a shock. Like, this is not what I'm used to, and now I have to try to adjust to this madness. And I don't want my business to go underground. And so, how do I save my business? What do I need to do? So, because of the governor's orders, we had to switch to remote, and even some of my tutors, they got paranoid with the COVID, and I don't want to really go to people's homes, and so people like, I don't want to touch people, I don't want to be around people, and I had to deal with that as well. So because of the world shutting down, and because we had to switch to remote, and even some of my tutors got paranoid, I definitely had to switch to a virtual. And we managed to keep most of our clients, which I'm grateful for. Some kind of fell by the wayside, unfortunately, but we managed to save most of our clientele, which is wonderful, and even most of our tutors as well. So it's definitely a shock, but I think when that happens, you have to decide what you're going to do in this moment. Like, am I just going to stay here, or am I going to do something about it? And so it's like, I didn't want my business to drown. There's so many businesses that have shut down, because of the pandemic, and I didn't want to be one of those. So I had to make a decision and kind of grab the bull by the horns and, make the virtual work.
Yeah.
And here we are.
How many employees do you have?
Well, it's a mix of employees and independent contractors. So I'm technically the only employee, but
Yes.
right now I have 8 contractors.
Wow. So did you feel a responsibility to those contractors at all? I mean, I know you really by law don't have a responsibility to them because they're contractors, but did you feel that keeping them employed, keeping them making money was kind of your responsibility?
I would say, I mean, yes, but to the extent of my abilities. So, yes, I wanted to keep them employed. Yes, I wanted to keep money in their pockets. Yes, I wanted to keep them busy. However, I could only do that as far as I could go. So it depended on were the clients available, and are they even open to virtual tutoring, and do they have the tools, and of course, how is the Wi-Fi, which is a an issue that we dealt with a lot in our sessions. Is how is the Wi-Fi connection? How is their Wi-Fi connection? How is the tutor's Wi-Fi connection? How do we tutor using internet materials as opposed to a book, for example? So yes, I did feel responsible. I didn't want anyone to be low on income. I know it's tough. But again, it was only to the extent of how far my business was able to go.
That had to be stressful.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was definitely stressful because it's like in some ways I felt like I wasn't meeting my obligations, and I wasn't able to reach out to as many people as I could. And a couple of tutors actually decided to leave during the pandemic. So it's like now I have to pick up the slack, and now I have to go find other people. So it was a lot that came at me all at once, and that definitely slowed things down. And I put that out there to the tutors as well, like things may slow down a bit. So of course, I think being transparent, I think is very important, um, because when things don't exactly work out the way you want them to, you need to be upfront with people and say things aren't working out the way that you want them to. And so you got to let people know that, and kind of take that burden off your shoulders. Like, if I'm not able to do something, I'm not able to do something, and I'm not going to stress myself out doing that. But I will let my team know, hey, things are going to change, and it is unfortunate. This is the way things are going, and unfortunately, y'all will have to go with it. But I will do my best to pick things up and change the dynamic. So
That's great. Now, I know that you have a degree in counseling for mental health issues, right?
yes, I have my master's in clinical mental health counseling.
Wow, congratulations. But
Thank you.
now I'm curious, how did that affect your mental health? How did you deal with the stress, the anxiety, the whatever you want to say?
Well, you definitely want to acknowledge the emotions that you are feeling. So that is the first step. So I was worried, I was anxious, I was sad, I was frustrated, I was feeling all these different types of emotions at once. So the next step is sort of like a choice. Like, do I want to stay here, or do I want to do something about it? And when it comes to any type of change, the person has to want to change.
Yeah.
So you
Um,
can't,
can I make a point?
yes.
I noticed that you just said something there that, like, when people go through something, they have a choice that they have to make. They can either stay down where they are, or they can get up. I had 7 virtual events last year, and they were called the Get Up events. And I did them because I felt that people were being held down and they were being told that they couldn't do anything because the world was in a pandemic. Well, the thing is, you see, I was going through something at that time too
Hmm.
because I'm used to going out and traveling the country and speaking to groups of people. If that's kids, if that's adults, whatever. But I had to adjust. And that's exactly what you said. But I realized that people were being held down and they needed to adjust. So I wanted to help them adjust. Now, in whatever way that might be, that can be different for all kinds of people. But I had all these events that had multiple motivational speakers. We all spoke for 8 minutes apiece, and we spoke for like the events were like 3 hours long. They were amazing events, and I loved every single one of them. And I really appreciate the way everybody came to those, and the fact that she's just said that you have a choice that you need to either stay down there or get up. And well, those aren't her exact words, but those are my words. But yeah, that's sorry. I just had to make that point right there.
Yeah, and that's a wonderful point that you made. I think for anyone that's going through any type of issue, the first thing you want to do is acknowledge that there is an issue. And then the second one is look into the different options that you have in dealing with the issue. And the third step is to go for it. So
Go for
it's
it.
go for it, yes. Yeah. So it's you have to, again, what I was saying before about you have to want to change, so no one can really change you. It's you really got to do it for yourself. And so if you see that there's a problem, acknowledge that there is a problem. That's the first step. And the second step is, what are my options in dealing with this problem? And the third step is, do it.
Do it.
And
I
yes,
love that. Just do it. Nike right there.
right there, just do it.
Yeah, that is amazing. So I would like to talk a little bit about your business now, and I'll promote that a little bit. So hopefully you can gain some clients or whatever you call them. But so what's the name of your business again?
A step ahead tutoring services.
A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. And where you're based out of Brooklyn, correct?
Yes.
But do you do virtual training with people all over the country?
Yes, we do. So we're
That
not limited to Brooklyn. I just want to put that out there.
that
We
is
are open
amazing.
nationwide. Yes, we just happen to be in Brooklyn, but we expand nationwide.
That is amazing. So what kind of things can you help how old of people do you work with?
What kind of, what was the question?
All right,
Sorry.
sorry. I combined like two questions there. I apologize. But what age of people do you work with?
So we work with all ages. So we do as young as kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade. We even do college students and adult learners.
That is great. So what kind of things do you help people with?
We do one-on-one tutoring. We do test prep. We have virtual art workshops for
Oh,
kids that like to draw or paint or do graphic design. We also do editing and proofreading, resume review. What else do we do? We do that's pretty much a test prep. Did I say test prep? Yes, we also do test prep.
And what subjects do you cover?
Pretty much all the basic ones. So we do math, reading, writing, science, history. We also do SAT and ACT on the
Oh,
test.
so you do SAT and ACT prep.
Yes, and some GED as well.
That's awesome, and I know that SAT and ACT are so important for getting into college, and that a lot of people should want to take you up on that.
They should. And
Yeah,
even especially the SAT is optional now. It's because of the pandemic, it's no longer required. But if you actually take the SAT, it might actually put you a step ahead of everyone else. So,
wow.
I definitely recommend, even though it's optional, to do it because
I
it'll put
didn't
you ahead of the
I
game.
didn't even know that that was optional now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, is there any how can people get a hold of your company if they want to employ you, if they want to get some of your services or find out how much they are?
All right. You can find us online. Our website is www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com, all one word. You can also call us 347-762-2838. We are also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and Eventbrite, and WhatsApp. And you can also text us at the same number, the 347 number. You can call or text us.
Wow. That's a lot of ways that they can get a hold of you. Is there anything else you would like to add about your business?
That we work with you. So we have a sliding scale. So our tutors choose their own rates. So depending on how much you can afford, we will work with you to come up with a financial plan. So whatever it is you can afford, we'll work with you to get the best tutor.
That is fantastic. Now, my big thing is you only get one life. One life to live, one chance on this green planet or blue planet or whatever you want to call this
Mhm.
planet, but you only get one chance. And education plays a huge, huge, huge role in that. Now, I'm not saying I agree with every form of education because I really don't. I don't think education is like I don't think they do it exactly right, but that's for another call or another show. But my thing is it's so important that you guys get that early start. It's so important that you're prepared for life. You know, that's actually that brings me to another point. So, this right here is my journal. Now, this journal is called Make Every Second Count, a 1,500-hour journal. And since you watched this entire show, you are welcome to the first 7 days of this for absolutely free. All you have to do is go to jeffmarconettejr.com/journal. You can see that up there on the screen, and you just enter a little information and you can download the first week of my journal for free. But this is a lot like education. It's made to give you a foundation in life, a way that you can build a building you don't build it on a weak foundation. So it's good to start life on a strong foundation. Education can be a strong foundation, and my book will help you develop skills beyond education. And my book is a lot like where I think the education in this country is lacking. So I really appreciate that book, and I really appreciate everybody that I've given that book to, everybody that has bought that book, and just I don't know, I love it. So I I want to say hi to Jeff Marconette, my dad. Woohoo! And then Nicole Smith Myers is watching. Diana Ash is watching. Maria is watching. Nicole is watching. Darn. Brittany is watching. Marilyn is watching. Colleen is watching. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And if you or anybody else need educational help and help in school, tutoring, whatever, ACT, SAT prep, give her a call because she will help you. I promise you. But you guys all out there have to do me a favor, including you. You have to make every second count. Why? Because you never know when the seconds are going to run out on your one life. Hey, you guys have a great night. I'll see you back here next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Till then, later. Bye. You can actually stay here. So it's supposed to be going off. Hopefully it's off. So I